The headlines: 3 plead guilty in credit card scam. New flight coming from Germany. And as the World 2020 starts with a shocker, we hear from the Windies captain. Welcome to Nation News for Tuesday, March the 15th, 2016. Three British nationals have pleaded guilty in a credit card swindle discovered last month. Joseph King, Michael Akingbade, and Mukhtar Abashek accepted the charges of criminal deception in connection with card purchases of more than $75,000 in luxury items in February. A pre-sentencing report was ordered for the men when they appeared in the No. 5 Supreme Court before Justice Jacqueline Cornelius. They will be returned to court for sentencing on April the 17th. The British trio were charged along with Barbadian Melissa Cumberbatch as a result of fraudulent purchases of expensive timepieces and computer equipment in local stores. The Barbados Stock Exchange has added an international arm to its existing local market in a drive to bring more foreign business to the country. The stock exchange serves as a forum for businesses to raise funds through share offerings or for the public to buy shares in publicly listed companies. What this Barbados international securities market does is to offer those same opportunities to the offshore business sector. Officials hope that it will attract more banks and other international business companies and create job opportunities. Speaking during the launch at Hilton, Barbados, the business minister, Donville Innes, said robust market regulation will be put in place.
It is anticipated that participants in the ISM, which are likely to be international offshore banks and international business companies, would be regulated by the stock exchange for their actions and obligations under the rules of the ISM and continue to be subject to prudential regulation by the Central Bank of Barbados as well. They would also continue to be regulated by the Financial Services Commission for takeovers, insider trading, and market manipulation. And this would enable the BSC to ensure a strong regulatory focus for the ISM, which is absent in many less well-regulated offshore international centers.
With the deadline for general elections about 2 years away, the opposition Barbados Labour Party has cast its eyes over the government's spending budget for the next financial year and appears rather wary of what it regards as sweeteners for voters. It is a theme that the BLP started at a pre-estimates party meeting on Sunday and has followed up on the opening days of the debate in the House of Assembly. BLP leader Mia Motley told the meeting at the party's headquarters that government is spending millions on independence celebrations while the hospital is in disrepair.
And the independence celebrations, Chris Sinclair told you, goods and services must be cut. But you are now spending, Clyde, I just showed you the figures, 120 or 30 million more than 2 years ago in goods and services. You will spend $5 million on independence celebrations. At the hospital, I just left the hospital this afternoon, bounced up Chris Sinclair too going in. He asked me, I thought you were out there abusing me already. I said, not yet. And I said, but I realized you're coming to count how many ceiling tiles missing. With ceiling tiles missing in the hospital, it must gather dust, right? And if dust and bacteria gather in the hospital, what's happening? Infection.
Advisor to the BLP on the economy, Clyde Maskell, predicted that salary increases and tax concessions would also be on the agenda as the election nears.
How come you have been asked for the last 7 to 8 years to do everything possible for your country that you love? But now within less than 6 months, the very government that imposed all of the strictures on you is now prepared to relax everyone. So we have no excessive spending in this fiscal year coming. And you'll get some more things. There will be an increase in salaries for public service this year. There will be some form of tax relief coming this year. I'm telling you what's going to happen. And there will be excessive spending for the so-called independence. And then in preparation for everything else.
Barbados will have a new air service out of Germany next winter season. Starting November the 12th, Condor Airline will be flying every Saturday from Munich. Tourism officials say the service will bring increased visitors from Germany's wealthiest regions, as well as Austria, Northern Italy and Switzerland. Condor currently operates flights to Barbados out of another German city, Frankfurt, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The multinational fair is back after a one-year break with a focus on the country's strengths in its Jubilee year. It will be held on April the 9th at Foursquare Distillery and Heritage Park. Sharon Oran is one of the organizers.
So this year's fair is going to be bigger and more exciting than ever. We have all the aspects of the previous fairs where we had representation from Syria, Lebanese, from Italy, from Israel, from China, from all different aspects and international aspects coming together. We have a German beer garden. But we have a consciousness to this fair that didn't exist in previous fairs. So it's going to be about recycling. It's going to be about fun. It's going to be about teaching kids all about how to be better citizens of the world, of Barbados.
In this week's commentary, Geraldine Edward talks about preparing the families of victims for the release of killers from Dodds.
We are seeing more and more people released from Her Majesty's Prison Dodds after serving long sentences for murder. The focus tends to be on the individual, but we cannot overlook the families of the victims. Often they are not told that the person who took the life of their loved one has been released and are shocked to see it in the local papers. While former inmates return to society touting the prison's rehabilitation programs, families are left to deal with the old wounds that have been ripped wide open. Despite the passage of time, there's no healing. So while the authorities worry about the rates of recidivism, we also need to prepare families for the day they may come face to face with the person who killed a loved one.
In sport, Barbados' under-16 netballers are working hard toward a successful defense of the Caribbean crown at home next month. Coach Julie Phillips says the players have spent many hours getting ready.
Those girls have been taken through several aspects of training, not only the physical, but the mental. We've spent a lot of time paying particular attention to the mental aspect of it, because playing at home is never easy. And we have a pretty young team, but to go out there and defend at home is exactly what we're working for. And we are encouraging corporate Barbados, all the school children who will be home on vacation, and netball lovers to come out and support Team Barbados, our young Bajan gents, as they go out to defend their title at home.
The tournament runs from April the 2nd to 9th. 8 teams are taking part. Cricket's World 2020 tournament had started with a shock result. Favourites and hosts, India, going down by 47 runs to New Zealand. The West Indies opened their campaign on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, our time, against England. Here are the thoughts of Captain Darren Sammy.
There's never too much pressure on Chris. Obviously, we know Chris is a massive figure, but you look at the dressing room we have with Bravo, Russell, Sammy, Jason, and Carlos, Bradford. That's a lot of power. So the key for us is each person, each player accepting their own personal role in the team and being responsible. Not leaving it for any one person. Whoever is out there batting well has to have that impact on that day. So obviously with Chris in the dressing room, whichever dressing room he plays, because he's such a destructive figure, there will always seem to be pressure for him to perform. But Chris is just gonna do what Chris has done throughout his T20 career. That's why he's the leading run scorer in T20 and has, I think, 12 or 13 hundreds, and the next person has 7 or 6.
The women's tournament is also on the way. West Indies coach Vasbert Drake says they have been planning their approach for the game against Pakistan on Tuesday.
Actually, we just came back from our final preparation session in the stadium, where we would have had a nice knock in on some decent and thorough wickets, and also we would have spent some time under the lights just trying to get a feel of the conditions and stuff like that. I think one thing that would have happened is that we obviously come out of South Africa where the ball came onto the bat, and then obviously coming into Chennai where the wicket is a little bit slow. I think the expectation of scoring at probably 7-8 runs over, I think it was a little bit too far-fetched. So we actually review our game plans in terms of how we're going to go about constructing our innings and certainly deconstructing the opposition and finding the best possible method that would make us successful in the tournament. So I think it's like anything else, it's just a matter of executing.
And finally, the Health Minister of Sweden has defended a couple against neighbours who complained that the pair are having noisy sex in their apartment. The minister said the couple's late-night sessions were a good thing. Sounds nice for them, I think, he said in a tweet. Good for their well-being and thus public health as well. Most apartment blocks in Sweden don't allow tenants to conduct loud activities after 10 p.m, like vacuum cleaning or drilling. But loud sex? Well, it's okay, the minister said, citing a 24% drop in the number of times Swedish couples have sex per month in the space of less than 20 years. Oh, the stress of modern life. And that's Nation News for Tuesday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Midweek Nation on Wednesday or subscribe to our e-paper.